Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony. I want to talk a little bit about my experience with ASUS's AI Mesh. With moving into a house, we ran across a Wi-Fi issue. Now, I only had Wi-Fi at one end of the house because that's where cable is and everything else, and the other end of the house was very poor, extremely poor. Sometimes I couldn't even connect, or I was connected, but it was so slow it felt like I was never going to get anywhere very quickly. But I had an ASUS router and I was looking at different options I had. I could have went with any one of the mesh networks out there, but I didn't want to spend too much, and so that kind of limited things very quickly. And Newegg was running a great sale on the AC 1900P AI or ASUS router, and I was like, well, ASUS has this AI mesh, maybe I'll just try this. I already had the RTAC 68P, which is a 1900 AC class router, and the RTAC 1900P is another 1900 class wireless router as well. And so I was like, okay, I'll just get that. It's a little bit better processor inside of it. I'll make that one the router, and then I'll take my older AC68P and make that the node. And so that's what I decided to do. And if I have one suggestion when you're setting it up, if you're going to go this route, is make sure that you change all the nodes to AI Mesh nodes first before you set up the AI Mesh router. It'll simplify things and you won't have to go back to the nodes and then set them to AI Mesh nodes beforehand. And I was also able to run Cat 6 wire from the AI Mesh router to the AI Mesh node. So it runs across the house, and everything was drop ceiling, so it was easy to do overall. And they already had so much coaxial wire, I was able to pull basically the cat wire wherever I needed it. And that's one benefit with, I think, more mesh networks should implement as well. And if they do have them, I would strongly encourage you to look at those scenarios as well, because they can be a huge benefit. And I think I'm reaping some of that benefit with that as well. So like I said, there was two routers. The new one is now the AI Mesh router, which is, basically replacing your current router. And then the nodes are basically just extra nodes that then you're able to connect to. One of the benefits that I really wanted was to be able to go from one end of the house to the other one without connecting to different SSIDs, and that basically solves that. Setup was also very quick once I had all the AI Mesh nodes set up as AI Mesh nodes. Super simple. ASUS did a pretty good job of that overall. I haven't done much fine tuning with it overall. I just basically wanted to see how fast it is to be set up, because I was still moving in and there's still a lot of stuff to do here, and I only have a couple months left before winter comes, and yeah, so I got to get that stuff done too. So it was basic setup overall, and the results were very impressive. Now, all these tests are done at the 5 gigahertz band, and that's what I was testing. I did not go through and set up the 2.4 gigahertz band. I pay for internet. I want to use it, especially with how much it costs and how kind of I guess other parts of the country have way better internet than I have. But right now I have 200 by 10 overall, so 200 down, 10 up. And if I'm going to pay for it, I want to use it. So I have a before and after in the exact same spot using 5 gigahertz band, same devices. This is all Surface Pro 4, except for the one scenario later on that I'll talk about, which I'm comparing to being plugged in, and that's going to be done with my desktop here that I use to render everything and kind of game on, etc. So the before scenario, up in the kitchen, other side of the house from the router, was ping was 23 milliseconds. Windows connection fluctuated from 41 megabits per second to 27, back and forth. And the download would range anywhere from 12 was low all the way up to 26 megabits per second. And then the upload speed ranged anywhere from 0.4 all the way up to 5.47, and more times than not it was at the 0.4 side of things. So it was very slow and pitiful, and well, we couldn't even pull up recipes or stuff. It was just frustrating, and my wife was not happy about it either. So had to fix that for sure to make sure that it was easier for her to do things. But the after ping in the same location, this is now with the AI Mesh node all set up. Ping dropped down to 19 milliseconds, much more, you could tell. I bet you that ping before was probably pretty higher in a lot of scenarios. But the Windows connection, so this is through I usually check it through Task Manager to find the connection. This is 702 megabits per second to 867 megabits per second. So a huge jump there in just the whole overall connection. Download was 206 to 215 megabits per second. And then you had about 8.5 to almost 9 megabits per second on the upload speed. So still not my full upload speed, but very close and much better than the prior one. Now, I also wanted to test the AI Mesh router comparison to being connected to the node. Same device. I had to move locations though to be able to be connected to that. So I connected about the same distance overall, and the ping was the same, 19 milliseconds. The Windows connection was also the same, 702 and 867 megabits per second. That's where it was fluctuating between. And then the download speed was 202 to 212. So roughly this in line with the same. Who knows? Something maybe tried to update, or was asking for a request, or my wife was doing something, and it fluctuated the download speed ever so slightly, but same range. And then the upload speed was also exactly the same. Was a little bit higher, more consistent, much more closer to 9. It was the lowest one got to 8.83 rather than 8.5. So a little bit higher there, but overall great connection speeds, much better, using most of my upload and all of my download all the time on the wireless side. So then I decided, okay, let's compare this to being plugged into my desktop, and that was where I was actually more impressed with the wireless AI Mesh side of things. And ping is still 19 milliseconds, and I'm literally only like 10 feet away from the router here plugged in, but it's a gigabit per second, per second in the Windows connection side of things, of course, because I'm plugged in. And then the download is 211 or 208 to 214, so right consistent with the AI Mesh side of things on both the router and the node. But then the upload speed, and here's where the big difference was, is the upload speed is 11.31 or 11.28 to 11.36. So very consistent. I mean, the range was all in between there, very close on everything. And so overall, I was impressed. The download speeds are very great across the nodes, across the router, and I guess I only have one node, right? So it's singular. But I'm just impressed I was able to use it. I'll be able to stream wherever I am. I got to still test the garage. I've been busy trying to get stuff done, but I hope that works quite well overall with the speed of things in the garage. It should, because I was able to, when I set this up, also able to offset the router and then the node to be on different levels of the house. So the router's in the basement, where the node is actually on the first floor, or the main floor, that's on the same level as the garage. So and it's right next to the garage, so should be able to cover it quite well. And I'm excited to actually look more into that and use it. But overall, I wanted to get this out because I've been impressed with it, especially with all the options ASUS gives you for creating the AI Mesh networks, because you can get some of their newest high-end stuff, as well as still use some of their older AC products that are out there today. They've been upgrading the firmware, and I've been impressed with their upgrade path. Now, I haven't upgraded the path from being on a mesh network, and that's going to be interesting to see here going forward, to see how ASUS all does that. Each router, like the router that I was using, was already updated to the latest version, right? So the new one just had, when I plugged it in, was basically saying, hey, you got to update if you want to use AI Mesh stuff. So it was updated to the latest one when I connected. So that was kind of a little bit my experience on that. I might have a video if I'm having an issue with it update later on and getting the nodes to update properly. But overall, the connection speeds are good. I can watch actually anything anywhere now. I couldn't watch YouTube videos before because it was horrible. Like like YouTube wouldn't even load at some points. It was just like, hey, I don't think so, not today. So I'm impressed. Let me know if you got any questions or comments on the AI mesh stuff. I'd be more than happy to take a look at it and hopefully get you an answer on that as well. But I want to thank you for your support. Thank you for watching Gray Overload. I really appreciate all you guys helping support and grow this channel as well. Thank you for being patient as I move into this house, and I didn't get a video out last week, and I'm trying to get everything set up. As you see, I got some stuff behind me and everything, so I'm trying to get everything back there. But let me know what your thoughts are, anything else you guys would like to see, and hopefully I have another video here very soon. So again, I want to thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.